#1 here on the PCS series. So here we go. Game start. Week 3, day 1. Let's get it. And oof, this is a very interesting flight path, Godspeed. We've got a little bit of a southern tuck here, and a lot of it very close to Millie Island, very close to the Milta Peninsula. What are you thinking right now?
I'm thinking we are overdue, and when I say overdue, we are due for our starting Millie base circle for every single broadcast it seems that we get. Yeah, this plane path it's interesting. It doesn't really cut too much off. I mean, I guess teams that are going to be looting like towards the northwest, like George or Gatka, but even then they're going to be grabbing vehicles probably on Prim Road or something close, and they'll be able to be fine. So we'll see really where the circle takes us.
Yeah, and, you know, again, right now we've only got 2 teams going Millie. These are the 2 teams that we've expected, Radiance and Exodus. This has been their drop points on Erangel through this entire series, as we can kind of see where everybody else is landing. We're not really expecting much for contention here. Snow Patrol is going to probably grab a vehicle very close to Duel. That might be the quickest that we'll see for a fight. Atheris as well, as we can see a little intermingled there with Team Clueless. Darth might be looking for a vehicle as well, but Pistola Time is going to beat him to that intersection. So off the bat, really right now is we're just waiting for teams to touch down and see where that first circle takes us, because there we go.
Call it? Or did I call it? Love it. Love to see it.
Are we caster cursing us? You know what, guys? We say that on purpose. We say things hoping that the PUBG gods are listening and that we are going to get exactly this. But that means that Radius and Exodus don't have much to do. We've got a couple teams there on the southern road that can hold that first circle, prevent some of those early rotations. But if you're some of these teams to the north, what's your thought right now? Especially ATC, who's all the way up to Kameshki.
For this one specifically too, like if you look at that actual Millie base circle, it doesn't favor either the east or the west. Normally, like when we see a Millie base circle, you'll see that it's like heavily, skewed towards the west coast of Millie Island or like towards the east coast. This is very even, which means that the teams that are coming in from the north, they actually have a little time to decide which side they want to hit, because they're not kind of, being pigeonholed or forced into rotating to like, the cliffs of the west side of Millie base. So that should be interesting as well. I also really want to know what a team like Radiance is going to do. Is they're probably going to be looting over towards Novo. Maybe they take the tower, the highest point on Millie Base Island, what they like to hold. I know from experience playing with Los and Waldo that's a position that we'd like to be at if we could. So I want to see if they go back there as well.
And as well, right now we're kind of watching Sonics, who are looting out Pachinki. They're usually pretty quick on this right now. We're only at about the 3-minute mark, so by 4 or 5 they should be vacating this and heading on out. As we kind of going back though again to Radiance, McCoy is already scouting out that top position. So as we wait and let the rest of these teams loot out, we've still got a lot of movement and momentum. A couple of teams in Yasnaya looting close, not yet in combat as well. So as that circle closes and we start to see those rotations into the first zone, I think, especially for some of these teams, there's so little playable area into the top here is where we're going to get that first bit of action.
I agree. I also, Clover, I got to be honest, through all of these games and all the Millie circles that we've actually had, no one has really committed to camping a bridge, and I just kind of want to see that. Like, yes, it can be annoying to deal with, or it can be seen as a bad move specifically if you get pinched from the other side. But I mean, there's a lot of points that can be had, especially if you do it correctly, and if you find yourselves camping in somewhat of a split. It's good. It's good, and I think I want to see some teams kind of incorporate that. Will we? Probably not, but maybe that's just the, I guess, the toxic side of me wanting to see some sort of camp happen on one of these bridges.
Ooh, and might be getting at Comets are getting a little bit friendly on the bridge, but they are going to go ahead and head on to Millie Island. And just before this, we did see Atheris making a beach rotation with Elusive just off to their west. So already teams are set up and getting into the zone. As looks like Comets, I thought they might have wanted to hold this hill. That's a really good position to catch teams off on this bridge rotation. Sonics are just on the other side, haven't quite crossed yet, but oh, nope, I think they are. They're going to take the higher spot here. and set up camp just inside the zone. As you know, with these circles, that first phase gives you an idea of where the circle goes, but I always think that it's the second circle, the second phase, that really gives you an idea of the flavor of what we're going to see as far as whether or not it's going to go north, south, east, west, what area it might favor. And so for right now, we're really just seeing these teams set up until they get that next information for the next zone.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, this one specifically, too, is very neutral. This is a very neutral melee circle, and kind of what I was alluding to earlier is it's very much encompassing the entire. It's not skewed towards one side. The other thing that you were just mentioning, actually, Clover, was the fact that Comets could have potentially taken refuge on that hill and watched the bridge camp. And just going back to my other point is if you do camp the bridge early, I think that's when you have the most advantage. Obviously, staying there too long is a mistake, and you do get caught from behind by other teams, but camping one team really quick, especially on a quick rotation, can be very advantageous. Meanwhile, though, it looks like we have two teams kind of setting up pretty close here on the north side.
Yeah, you know, Theris and Elusive, we did kind of talk about a moment ago, did take a boat rotation from the main island pretty quickly. They actually landed on the beach at roughly the same time. Elusive, though, is going to continue forward, so we can see Fizzle scouting ahead, but they're going to walk right into Comets, who opted for this compound past the top of the hill, and I think we might already see some shots there from Fizzle. He's going to find the opening knock onto D-Treats, as we see Sock start to go wide, looking for another angle onto this.
Oh, I love these angles coming out from Elusive right now, and that's going to be a flush on D-Treats.
I mean, that's definitely not a player you want to lose if your Comets D-Treats. One of their highest damage players is Yaxley. Is going to take a lot of damage, lying prone to try to avoid getting knocked, but now we see the rest of Elusive taking this push up here, trying to maintain control. As Sub-Zero is going to get found by Sock. Jay All Day goes down as well. And Fizzle pulling back to get a little bit of heal. He's only got bandages, but should have plenty of cover from this. So a good mix of trades here.
Yeah, Comets, though, kind of bleeding out a little more. So T-Sock was there. I was wondering if he couldn't get the trade on Yaxley, or maybe he had a weird angle. Starting to use mollies now to buy some space. And it looks like this fight is starting to just kind of fizzle out.
Here we go, and Victor setting up right now, has spotted in a beautiful headshot there. That's another down for Elusive. So Comets are down to a 3-man, but they've still got 3 up. And right now, putting the pressure here onto Elusive. That's going to force them back a bit with 2 players right down. Jay All Day is still bleeding out. T-Sock trying to make a move here as Victor looking for the flush there on a nade. I don't think they're going to get the resin. There you go, knocked out. And now evened out here as smokes are out. T-Sock trying to get this res. This is a really good time for Comets. Do you push or do you hold the compound here?
I mean, I don't know if they recognized if there was a smoke. I mean, obviously they know they knocked one. They at least got a flush. So it was down to a 3v3. I really like the way that Comets recovered in that fight, to be completely honest. They started immediately with losing 1 in D-Treats. They had a knock, and they had to recover from that. Really nice trades coming out, and that one just really went down to each team cannibalizing a player from each other. But yeah, if they would have realized the smoke was there, they should have absolutely pushed it, but they didn't.
Looks like Radiance has caught sight on a couple of enemies. Like you called it, they did take the top tower here at the top of the mountain. It's going to give them a beautiful line of sight of this entire eastern side, and there are teams surrounding them in every direction. Livid, Exodus, Zenith, Oath, all coming at them from different angles. Jerry got a little fancy with it.
I don't know if that was fancy. I think he just hit the tree, but we'll call it that. Duel, I mean, I don't know what this team needs to do to start to turn things around. Wooly has had so much experience in this scene, leading different rosters, I might add, to find success. So I don't know what exactly it is about this specific roster that isn't working, but this is pretty much their last chance. Otherwise, they are... they're going to be going down, and what a shift! Oh, you'll love to see it.
Oh, that is a toxic circle. So much water into play. I mean, if you're Radiance, you got to be really happy right now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you love to see it. Or Oath. Oath is also in a phenomenal position as well. So Radiance, though, I think are the ones, Clover, I agree with you. They're going to be reaping the benefits of this.
Now, of course, Duel did just get an million, immediately having to move on to the rest of the zone as they're going to come in behind Exodus. Sonics are just off to their south with Hardshifts behind, so this is going to be a little bit of a busy transition for a lot of these teams. as we can now follow along. I mean, we've got 2 buggy players there for Exodus. Good opportunity to maybe jump to the back seat, try and do some damage. They're going to put some distance, though, as Duel starts to swing south. But look, Sonic's already set up in front of him here. Oh,
no.
Oh, H-Win's right there. Oh. Oh, they don't even know.
Super dangerous.
Oh, Jerry. Jerry's going to take a lot of fire there from H1 as we see Nade coming out, landing just beyond him as Profi's actually going to find the knock immediately. Picked up, though, and
more shots are ringing out here, but looks like Duel and Tony V, the rest of them, are just getting out of there. Unfortunate for Cherry, that was just a caught kind of by surprise. Sonic's really good punishment on Cherry, though. He was out of position and they made him pay for it. But what is this?
Oh, there you go. Duel. Hard crash here. Taylor J actually knocked and flushed. And Tony looks like trying to push on the rest of this compound. I think still is somebody here? No, we are going to win this out. Rest of Exodus moving on to the next facility. So Duel's going to find some safety in this, but going forward, what do you got?
I mean, they have a decent position here. The issue is if they try to rotate up and especially go north up on that hill that we're looking right in front of Exodus, Exodus has clear line of sight on that. So that's going to be a rough. It's going to be a rough rotation if Exodus decides to stay back and kind of wait them out. Obviously, they know they're there. They just killed Taylor, so we'll see what happens with that. Both teams are a man down, but Sonics again potentially looking onto the team of Hardshifts as Shrivsy gets a knock.
Ooh, and I mean, this is the Sonics I was anticipating, already starting very aggressive, holding on to this angle. Hardshifts did come in a little bit late, as we saw a couple of teams rotate and transition into this. Mine did take some damage, however, and Loeb's bleeding out quickly. Should find the res on this, but Hardshifts just trying to make sure that it is safe. This is a very open area, and at least that we know nobody's in this, but can never be too safe here. As J-Sank already going ahead, scouting, looking for that next position so they can put some distance between them and Sonics, but Profi's still in the area.
I think that the biggest issue here for Hardships is they need to figure out where they want to go. I mean, they can't just keep going back and forth. They got to scout something out. Meanwhile, any trolls in chat, Winnie is stuck in a bit of a precarious situation as Oath is looking onto him. But there's another team. It's actually Team Clueless.
Ooh. And as you called, I mean, Oath was in a really nice position here in Nova, but it is Clueless and any trolls in chat that found themselves rotating into the same position. Aguila trying to find the angle. A couple shots out there from the M249, but so far no connection. So we can see Molotovs thrown in by Clueless. It's going to miss that as well. So if you're any trolls, you're going to be in a little bit of a trouble, but Nitrogen will land this molly, and immediately we see Aguila popping that first aid, trying to stay at full health. They've got the safety of the wall for right now. Oath shouldn't have any angle on this, but here comes the pressure from Clueless still. Yeah,
and this is really potentially just some nice pickings coming out from Oath as long as these two teams kind of take themselves out. That's going to be a nice knock onto Nitrogen from Marsalek, who's been a real standout for this team.
Yeah, I mean, really great damage, great headshot from him as well here. So now see Pistola Time, who I think's kind of been the best player here for Clueless, and he's going to get a knock onto Winnie. Tries to pick up a second, but immediately Aguila cleans that up. Pistola Time gets knocked, but again, 2 players down right now for ATC as NHS is actually going to find a knock there on Aguila. That's 3 down right now, and unfortunately Aguila very far separated from the rest of his squad. Might be an easy flush here as Nitrogen starts to push his way over there, and we can see right now, trying to get the pop-up. Maro is going to get res, as Winnie is in the process of getting picked up right now by Marcelic, but this is a dangerous spot to be for all these players.
Yeah, they can't hold out there too long because eventually they will slide a nade or a molly into there. Aguila had a fantastic position and a great off angle to punish, but he had no support. He was basically playing the anchor. And because of that, once he went down, he was pretty much dead. And all trolls in chat, or excuse me, any trolls in chat, I don't know why I keep calling all, need to start spreading out if they can, find some sort of refuge, maybe deeper into Novo, because this is a very bad
Oath
spot.
Is coming in. Oath Snakers is going to get the knock onto Pistola Time, and that's going to help out ATC just a bit, taking Team Clueless down 1 more. As we can see, well, now, I think a little bit of fluster and frustration here. Clueless needing to regroup now, realizing that not only does Oath have the circle, but he's got the angle on this.
Any trolls in chat really need to decide, as well as Team Clueless, whether they want to rotate in from the north or come in from the east, because they're running out of time. And I like this push.
Ooh, and it's hard to see right now, but even off the distance, Caps has view of this. But Pistola time with the M4 will get the flush there on Marcelic as we continue to lose more and more players for ATC, just down to Maru and Winnie. And here comes the blue cleaning it, but Patrick tried to go wide, has been spotted out by Winnie as Pistola time watching the gaps in the wall, looking for that next opportunity to knock. They got Aguila this way and trying to get one more, as we can see Maru actually is going to get found by NHS from another angle, and there you have it, cleaned up. Any trolls in chat going out in 16th, but immediately Snakers with an angle on this, getting Pistola down to 20. Ooh.
A fight here on the mountain with hard shifts and elusive. It looks like T-Sock may be not long for this world as Fizzle hits the deck, getting shot all the way from the top from Radiance. Ooh, but a knock here. Wait a second, Livid.
Oh, we've got so many players in this area. Kaden cleans this up. T-Sock and Jay all day flushed out. Will pick up the kills, taken away from hard shift as we now see Maluk rotate, trying to get the angle onto this. Kaden, no, will go out. There we go. Is knocked down. And Soup's still in the area. There's the flush there. Maluk finds it. And J-Sank pulling back to Linda Hand. So Hardshift's kind of a bit split onto this. We see Chuba off out in the distance on the minimap right now, trying to hold out against Comets, who haven't pushed in as well. Is just a rainbow down there on the minimap. So many teams trying to come in onto the same spot.
And this terrain, I might add, it's really it's multi-layered, so it's difficult to fight on simply because you don't always know who is above you or who's below you. I mean, your team may have an idea, but it's just there's so many different angles that you can get trapped or shot from. Not to mention Radiance, who can see this whole fight going on as Maluk takes some shots. Ooh. Oh, he goes prone. You gotta hit those.
One more.
Oh no.
Mitchie Boy gets very low, but Maluk can't find the knock. Just above Snow Patrol, though, is Fizzle. So we've got Elusive, or what's left of them, in this area as well. And, I mean, again, you said Radiance still has a good sight on this position, but I think they've got a couple teams holding them down. As we can see now, Chuba still holding off Comets, trying to catch Yaxley here on this rotation. It's a little bit separated from the rest of his teammates. Bullets coming in this area, though. Maluk is not safe, trying to get the res onto J-Sync. They want to stay 3 up here.
I mean, that's going to be their best option, right? Because as they move forward, especially in this terrain, the position that they're holding, which is good, they're going to need as many members as possible to hold off the pushing teams, because they're going to start coming in from the north, they're going to start coming in from the west, and they're going to start coming in from the south. So they're going to need as many as possible. But Chuba with a nice knock onto Comet, Sub-Zero, and a flush.
There we go, and that's going to help out Hardshifts as well. Chuba had been off just to the west, will be able to rejoin his teammates, though. He needs to get back in and without being seen by Snow Patrol or Radiance, as we can take a look over at the mount that they've got the view, and Snow Patrol is unfortunately going to find Chuba, as we can see in the kill feed. Crawfresh and Hershey are going to clean that up, and look at this. We've got so many teams just hanging out, chilling at the base of this mountain right now. Roth lying low. I mean, we're in phase 4. The circle going to close in about a minute. I think that might be the dictation here of when these teams are going to move. But, here we go. Hard push now coming in from Carnage, as Yaxley is going to leave the game. With it go Comets.
Yeah, if this circle shifts south, by the way, off center, it's going to be a bloodbath up in the north. All those teams are going to have to come down off the mountain. Radiance, Zenith, Snow Patrol, and they're going to just absolutely decimate each other if that is the case. We'll have to see. 30 seconds before the shift. Fizzle still trying to survive his hard shifts pushing up from the north, but he's in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, we've got 9 of the 13 remaining teams up here in the north area, and so many right now right on top of each other. Fizzle, the last player alive, still for Elusive, just a few meters away from Crawfresh, as Snow Patrol slowly working their way up the mountain. But here comes Maluk right on top. Hardshifts know that somebody's here, but just can't spot it out. As here we go, watching the circle shift. Where's it going to go? And oh, that is bad news bears for all of these squads.
For if you're not Exodus, which even actually Exodus could be potentially in a little trouble, because they're in what is a small bowl, essentially, in a very open area. So all these teams are going to have to rotate in, and especially with the North, we were talking about it earlier, all those teams are going to essentially cannibalize each other, just trying to get into the next circle, getting off that mountain.
Ooh, and there we go. Snow Patrol have line of sight there on Carnage. Delta is actually going to get knocked there by Sneak Attack. Ooh, Mitchy Boy, some good bullets there onto the hard shifts, but I mean, they've got a long way to go and a lot of squads to move through. Fizzle right in front of them. Oh, here you go, waiting, trying to find the first knock on Crawfresh. He doesn't get it. Sneak Attack gets the finish, but immediately, J-Sank on the trade. Hardship's going to get a knock here onto Snow Patrol. Oh, and here comes the Molly.
Huge.
Hershey. Oh, Sneak Attack is not going to survive this. Hershey very low, trying to pop off those meds before he gets taken down. That's only going to leave Crawfish and Mitchy Boy up here at full stack. But there you go, Hershey popping off that first aid kit. Another nades are out there trying to put the pressure onto J-Snake from behind. Carnage going to do a lot of damage, will find a knock, but Malouk went wide, finds Mitchy Boy. Oh, Snow Patrol is in trouble.
Oh, and Malouk, nice try. I really liked what Hard Shifts was doing there, to be honest. They knew they weren't going to get in. That run was going to be very detrimental for two members. So they tried to just put as much pressure as they could on Snow Patrol to get as many points as possible. But in the end, they got flanked, and Malouk was only able to get a knock. But it looks like Crawfresh now trying to just do what he can to sneak in, but Carnage is not going to let him in.
Oh, a lot of pressure coming in from Carnage. Crawfresh dips here into Delta, tries to find the knock. There you go, he's going to get it. Looking for that point as Shrimsy from the distance takes him out. Sonics clear this out. And there we go, Crawfresh will get credit onto Delta, but oh, Dodge is in here too. When did they even push in?
They snuck in somewhere as Maji now tries to get out. Just reckless abandon, runs straight to the south. He doesn't actually have the worst rap here. The only issue is if he gets seen by either Radiance or Sonics. But if he can make it into the circle in the south, he's relatively safe. And oh, look at this.
Oh, H-Win and Mine popping off, picking off Radiance, picking off Maji, Carnage. Oh, look at this. It is, I mean, like you said, they've got the perfect angle on this. They've got the high ground. They're losing that pressure from Radiance now, who's down to just McCoy. And as the circle starts to close, Dodge has no choice really but to kind of walk into their line of sight here. Sonics don't have too much pressure coming in from behind him. Zenith's on the other side of the hill. And, oh, there you go. Nice shift. This is still going to work for them here.
I really like where Oath is playing, that kind of deflate going down towards Novo the hill, and I really also like where Sonics is. So I think for me, it's going to be which one of these teams can come out as 4 or at least the strongest and start enforcing their will in the rest of the circle, because either one are juxtaposed on opposite sides. So it's really going to be them kind of farming the rest of the circle, unless Zenith can make something happen. 4 strong up in this bowl. If they can make a push up to Sonics, they can definitely do some damage and take over that position.
And yeah, I mean, as well, we've still got McCoy, who needs to work his way in along with Dodge from this angle. They've got to take the climb up the hill. And like you said, right now, Zenith down in this bowl. Shrimsy trying to get line of sight on someone he knows. I think that somebody is here. Hasn't quite spotted them out just yet, but at least for right now, I mean, this is, you can see, only really, I don't think Zenith has done much so far. Maybe one kill?
Yeah, I don't think they've done too much at all. For me, I want to know if Sonics can hold out Dodge, if they're actually going to be able to just peek over and just lay into Zenith.
Ooh. There we go. Dodge is actually going to get found out by Mime. A quick clean as Crop and Monty are going to fall to themselves and the zone. Radiance McCoy, though, still has not found himself in safety. We're in phase 6, though. You just can't tank in the blue here, as we saw that did kind of catch Snow Patrol as well as Carnage out. And Sonic's already with 6 kills up, still holding the high ground onto this, but they're now kind of in the edge of the circles. We can still see plenty of it going on to the other side, but now Duel is starting to rotate in on the backside of Oath. So if you're Sonics, do you try to hold the high ground for as long as possible, wait for that phase 7 shift, or what are you thinking right now?
Yeah, if they can carve themselves a path forward and basically plan on where to move after this, I absolutely think they hold the high ground, because that's also the way they're going to get the most information and potentially a few more kills, picking off 1 or 2. Really, though, it's so hard for them to know that Zenith is in that bulb. Yeah,
now McCoy is slowly creeping up. He knows that Sonics are here, but I'm not sure if they quite realize how close he is. There you go. H-Win spots him out, but Profi picks it up. McCoy tried his best. But that is it for Radiance. They go out in 7th place, and that's 7 kills now for Sonic. As again, I mean, another team that's in this area but has been relatively quiet is Atheris. We've got both Mardonis and Darth up to the extreme north. And Here you go, another viewpoint onto Oath as Duel just barely holding on to their side over here. A couple of exchange fired there between Relo and Balefrost, and here's our next circle, guys.
Oh, right in Oath's playground. My goodness.
I mean, if you're Oath, could you have hoped for anything better here?
Probably not. Realistically, though, here comes Sonics, though. We're actually seeing them move. They're going towards the wrap down to the southwest. This is the correct play for sure.
Ooh. Exodus right in front as we can see them vacate that shack. They're going to need to move now as well. Woolie's got sight on this on a different angle, and that's going to be a pinch for them here as shots out right now. Woolie's actually going to take some for Poonage, and that means that Exodus has their backs turned right now to the Sonic approaches. Mime tries to find a knock, but it's going to be Pat Caps that immediately picks that up. Mime is flush. Oh, it needs to reload. Profi goes down as well, so that's 2 right now out for Sonics. H-Win and Shrimsy trying to find an angle on this, but they're just struggling. Duel is not lending much of a hand, but H-Win from afar going to try to maybe take some members of Duel out.
And that's wild to me. Duel this whole time had clear line of sight on what was going on with Exodus. I mean, they could have really intervened, but actually they just worked together to take down the Sonics, which it's only Win and Shrimsy left. Oh, nice shot.
Oh, Wooly getting a beautiful headshot there onto Win. It's just Shrimsy up as we kind of watch this fall apart in front of us. Good overhead view. You can see exactly where these teams need to go to get into safety. Exodus, though, is still going to hold this side of the street as Lampalot now coming in to join along with Duel. Pat Caps with 3 kills to his name so far. They've lost Taylor J, but look at it, here we go. Duel actually is going to find out the last of Sonics. They go out in 6, but immediately another knock as well into Exodus.
It's just Drassel now. What can he do? Stuck inside the shack. So many smokes, but also so many grenades. Oh my goodness, the fact that he's still alive. Molly's coming out. Drassel is getting zoned out completely. And where has this Duel been this entire time?
This is what you want to see popping off there. We'll pick up the flush on Drassel. See Poonage take it out as well. And Duel right now in a really good position with 6 kills just on the edge of zone. Zenith, meanwhile, has been in a little bit of a battle with the Theris and Oath as we see Mardonis fall to the blue zone. Phase 7 coming to a close. We've got our top 3 teams, 11 players left alive, and let's look for that next shift.
And it's just going to center up. So realistically, Oath is still in the driver's seat here, especially with Duel having to come in, and they can only come in from the south or the west. So they're either going to have to run into Zenith, or they're just going to have to deal with Oath, which they've been dealing with. And to be honest, Oath has been kind of bullying them.
Ooh, and it's going to be an exchange of knocks as both Snakers and Tony V go down. And Oath trying to find the angle on this as Relo overextends just a little bit too far, gets hit there by Zenith. And trying to take advantage of this chaos. Duel still needing to push in it. Here comes the pressure still from Oath. They're trying to hold this angle and prevent this rotation coming in from Duel. I mean, with the road into play here, they should be able to see Zenith coming from far away, and Zenith really doesn't have to cross the street necessarily just yet, but they are going to lose that cover the closer and closer they push.
I just want to point out the strength of Oath and the fact that they're holding 2 teams out. Yes, they have the circle, but they're still effectively holding out 2 separate teams with a split. So these guys are absolutely pinning down both members of the teams of Zenith and Duel, and they're doing it so well. I have to give it up to them. They're playing fantastic right now.
Balefrost looking for a knock, doesn't find it though. We are going to see a bit of damage between both teams. Meanwhile, Duel finishing off their reses. They're going to be 3 back up, but Relo gets found, and Roth creeping across the street. He's managed to get over, and now looking for that angle. Oath might not realize he's here just yet. Finds one knock. Balefrost goes down. Oath is starting to fall apart here. Snakers in front. Can he find a knock on Wolf? He does. There's just 1 player left for Oath, but Roth falls down. No!
It's just Snakers. But at the same time, Duel was giving Zenith some trouble by picking off the cross. It's just Wooly now, though, on the other side.
Smokes.
This is risky. He has 1 smoke.
Oh, take the nade. Do it. He knows right now that Zenith is going for that res. He can time this perfectly. Gets the flush onto Roth. Lada's going to take a bit of damage. That's going to give him just a bit of time to try to pop this off. No smoke out on this right now. And Wooly, meanwhile, trying to move up a little bit closer. Find the flush here on Relo, and Wolf in front of him. He gets Relo. Trying to find out Snakers, but Balefrost is going to get the knock here.
Yeah, unfortunately, that flush cost him his life.
Oh, and its circle is closing here into phase 9. Playing the edge is not going to work too well for some of these teams. Tony V, the last player still up for duels. Oath has still managed to stay 2 players. You see the smokes out trying to protect Wooly. There might not be time to pop off this res, as now Zenith has the high ground. The middle of the zone is going to be just to the inside of the road here, as we see Lada look for a nicer angle onto this for Oath. I mean, this is difficult. You got 3v2v1 between these 3 squads.
I gotta say, though, nice recovery from Oath. I think Wooly had a big opportunity there to make an impact. It didn't work out his way, but even still, Oath managed to get at least 2 members up. They had 3 knocked, and they still could potentially get a win here. But Zenith and Tony V, Duels Tony V, definitely are poised to put the most damage onto Oath right now.
Ooh, and a flashbang goes out there from Zenith. They're going to get flashed themselves to see the animation up, as now Oath trying to take this push just a bit. The circle's getting a little bit closer. Tony V has been found. That's it for Duel. Down to our top 2 immediately. A knock and flush there. As now it is a 1v2 situation. 9 HPs on the edge of zone, but Balefrost finds it. Oath taking victory on game number 1 here with 11 kills. Woo.